What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another video of mine. Now, I said that I wouldn't cover any leaks or anything like that because I want the integrity of Season 4 to remain intact, and you guys have my promise, you have my word. I still will not be doing that. I will fulfill my promise, but this is more of a video for the subscribers that are popping into live streams than are asking my thoughts about it, because sometimes when I'm playing the games, it is hard to sometimes quantify what I'm saying when I'm focused on the game. So I thought, let me just do a video getting this out of the way, and then giving you guys my thoughts. Now, I know there's a supposed leaked image or something floating around, and I want to avoid that, but I'll talk a little bit about why Hawk's hair color being purple, if so, would it make sense? And here's why. I did a Hawk hair color video a while ago. I went with the colors of yin and yang, black and white. For me, that represents balance. But Hawk is very resemblant of what those colors could mean in the Star Wars format. I know people don't like these Star Wars comparisons, but at the end of the day, people, we're talking about thematic parallels. We're not talking about beat for beat storytelling. We're talking about similarities. So Hawk, for all intents and purposes, rocked the blue haircut when he was, in a sense, fighting on the light side, but a badass. And then he fought as a badass, but on the dark side with the red haircut. So having his blue hair and red hair meshed together would be the perfect culmination of everything that Hawk has gone on so far. So again, yes, he's not a spy. Just throwing it out there. I've got to throw it out there every time because there's still people that ask me about it. But it just makes sense. It feels like it would be right. It would be a natural progression. Now, do I think it's going to happen straight away? No. I feel like it could be maybe episode 2 or 3. He wants to change it up. And I feel like choosing blue and red and combining them into purple is a natural progression, and it would only just make sense, and it would elevate Hawk's character to another level. And it's going to be one of the best arcs of the next season. Him trying to atone for all the sins that he's done. Make up for all the mistakes he's made. Every single irredeemable act that he has committed. That's what his arc in Season 4 will be about. Like, I honest to God don't know how people aren't excited for this. It's one of the most exciting things for me about Season 4 is just seeing Hawk come to terms with what he's done. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Hawk's journey through Season 1. And in Season 1, we're introduced to Eli. Quiet, introverted, shy, self-conscious Eli. Never really has 2 words to say. It's a very unique sweater. And if you just look back at this Eli, or Hawk, to the guy we have now, it's just such an interesting contrast from where he started to where he is now. Thinking that the girls are making fun of him and all that stuff, but in Season 1 he really, the Hawk sort of element starts to come out when he says to Miguel, I thought it was cool how you stood up to Kyla. He, out of all the him and Dimitri, he's the first one to acknowledge that it made a difference for Miguel. And Johnny going in on him when Eli joined the dojo, calling him lip, saying that they should sue, he then turns around and he flips the script in what I feel is the most badass scene in probably Season 1. The minute the dude walks into the dojo with a new blazing haircut, bright blue, and he's like, I'm flipping the script. It's like, shit's about to get real. And I was just like, yes, 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 yes. And the only problem with this is the Hawk persona from this point on is exactly that. It's a persona. He doesn't use it as a way to embrace his nerdiness and all of that. He uses it as a way to sort of shut out the nerdiness, as a way to shut out Eli, to basically put the Eli that was into a box and put it in the corner and become this new born for battle type sort of warrior, and then throughout the rest of Season 1 he's trying to buy underage, he's underage and he's trying to buy alcohol, he's kicking Bert in the face when they were training in the park lot. The park. And it's just interesting seeing how he's gone for, I think the sudden change from Eli to Hawk was too sudden for him, and I don't think he really dealt with all of the baggage that Eli had up to that moment in time. He hadn't really dealt with the baggage. And even in Season 2, he hasn't really dealt with that yet, but I'll get to that. And then it starts to sort of really rub on off in him, and then when you get to the tournament, he's just going all out on these dudes. He's going ham, you know, he's got a point to prove, you know, and then he rips off his gi and then starts flexing, which, you know, let's be honest, it's a little bit cringy, but I love Dimitri's line. I can't believe this actually works. It's hilarious. And then he goes up against Robbie, and he pretty much embraces the inner Bobby Dutch moment, you know, trying to purposefully injure Robbie's shoulder. And it's at that moment where I feel Johnny realizes that his students are starting to be taught in the way that he thought was badass is not good for life. You know, no mercy, all of that stuff. And then we see that carry over into Season 2, when Hawk starts to really sort of come into his own a little bit more, and has like this desire. This is where it starts coming from, this desire to prove himself. Because arguably Miguel, as much as Miguel is his friend, Miguel is seen as the poster boy, Miguel is seen as the number one, and he's sort of viewed as a number two. And throughout the whole of Season 2, this guy gets shit on. You know, I'm not condoning what he did. Him trashing the Miyagi-Do and stealing the Medal of Honor, that was wrong and all that. But I'm saying that when he fights Robbie in the mall fight, he gets absolutely waxed. You know, gets a rinsing from Johnny about them, you know, challenging him and Robbie Keane. And he's cool in Season 2, but he doesn't really have any standout moments. In terms, if you know what I mean, that can really stack up to Miguel or Robbie levels of badassery. Now, he has the fight with Miguel in the forest, and then he gets kind of put on his ass. But I think Season 2 was very integral in understanding why Hawk is the way he is. And the best scene, one of the best scenes in Season 2 of the whole show, is the flashback of when he's talking to his mum about the bullying. And then she rings up the school, and then the school say they're going to make an announcement, and then it feeds straight into Season 1, because obviously they make an announcement about bullying, and people laugh, and then they're laughing at him. And he goes, you know, I'm never going to get a girlfriend, I'm never going to have any other friends besides Dimitri, I'm just going to be a kid with a weird lip. And all of those things he conquers. And I think what's even more impactful, and I've said it a million times about this show, is as much as the police in this show and in the movies are terrible, I think what really hits home is this scene is very real, and it's something that probably a lot of people can relate to. A lot of people understand it. You know, the whole saying goes, you know, tell the teacher if there's a problem. But let's be honest, what the hell has that actually done for anybody? And the real solution is to go and sock him in the face. Obviously, I don't condone violence over here. But the cut, right? The cut to current, present day sort of Hawk with the red and the blazing flames in his hair. Perfect, 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 perfect. So I am hoping there's a scene like this in Season 3, like Season 4, where it's maybe not as badass, but it's much more of a transition into him accepting himself. And it felt like throughout Season 2, and especially during Season 3, he wanted to completely ditch his Eli persona completely. Like, he wanted nothing to do with his former self at all, and he really wanted to go full-on Hawk. You know, it's a personality complex, you know, it's split personalities. So him being purple for Season 4 and onwards, I think makes sense, because it's a great natural progression for the character, with blue representing cool Hawk, and then red representing evil Hawk, and then you bring them together, you have balance. And then you cut to Season 3, and, you know, leaps and bounds. Like, for me, if it wasn't for, you know, like, certain, like, plot scenes and all that kind of stuff, I would personally say that Hawk is actually now on the same level as Robbie and Miguel, by far. Like, maybe not above them, and I'd even put Sam quite high up there as well, because I think she can take Hawk. But when Hawk's in that kind of zone, he's dangerous, he's lethal. And I feel like Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang, they needed Hawk to switch, because until Miguel gets back to full strength, the other fighters in the dojo are cool, but realistically all you have is Sam. I mean, Dimitri's cool, but he's still got a long way to go in terms of training. In terms of brute force, they needed Hawk. They really do need him. And I think throughout Season 3, his whole problem was he wanted to be number one. He really wanted to be the best. And Kreese was just never giving him a chance. He was never giving him a look in. He was never giving him the respect he was due. And Hawk always tried to step up to the plate. And as soon as Robbie was brought in the mix, he knew that he was always going to be a number two. He knew that he was always going to be second fiddle, because Robbie was arguably number one at the Miyagi-Do. Yes, Sam is the bloodline to the LaRusso legacy, but Robbie is Daniel's prized pupil. So he knew instantly that spot is definitely being taken. And as soon as Kreese said, you know, you're exactly what we've been looking for, he knew. It wasn't exactly why he switched, but it was a contributing factor to the whole thing. And I'll say this, I think Hawk was a bully for as much as we needed him to be. He was as much a bad guy for as long as he needed to be. I don't think he needed to be, you know, the bad guy any longer than he was. And I just want to say this. Here's why Tori's threat to Hawk for me makes no sense. The reason for me that it doesn't make sense, right, is because she says, you better watch your back. It's like, hold on a minute. A few episodes before this, when he went to town on Brooks, I mean, he went to town on him. Both Kyla, right, Kyla was flickering with fear and then quivering in the corner, and even Tori was surprised. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't think the creators have deliberately put that in there just for, you know, to see what Tori's reaction is. I think that reaction means something to Tori's character. The way Hawk went down on Brooks like that, beating him to a bloody pulp, I think the whole revenge plot, I think it could backfire. I think it could seriously backfire. And Hawk, just because he switched to, for all intents and purposes, just because he switched to the good guys, don't make the mistake in thinking Hawk's still not going to be ruthless. Hawk is even more ruthless than he was before. And look at the difference. As soon as he quote-unquote redeems and switches sides, look at the power shift. He teams up with Dimitri and they basically do their own version of the wheel technique that Sam and Robbie did in Season 2 against everyone in the house fight. He's absolutely lethal, and him switching sides is exactly why Cobra Kai they need to recruit Sean. They need someone like Sean or another person like Hawk to fill that void, because Hawk can make a big difference. Now, you can argue whether Hawk's on the same level as Miguel and Robbie. I would argue he is, it's just sometimes for plot. But I do say that regardless if Miguel and Robbie are the front, you know, poster boys in front and center, Hawk is one of those characters that can still make their life a living hell. So even in the tournament, he will severely weaken Robbie for Miguel to finish him off. You know, that is something that can happen because it's happened before. And, you know, it's just seeing him get to this kind of level, right? And I just feel like it's a natural progression for his character. And I feel like him switching to purple hair is very symbolic and would be very much in line with where his character has gone, you know? Again, I relate it to the Star Wars parallel of, you know, purple. Balance, you know? Mace Windu, someone who could use the light and the dark and all that jazz. So guys and girls, leave your comments down below. I think it's pretty much a given at this point that Hawk's hair is going to be purple. I think it's just the right way to go. And this isn't based on any leaks or anything like that. This is just what people have been asking me in live streams. So I thought, let me just do a video getting this out of the way. Because, again, I don't want to cover leaks. I really want to do my best to avoid them. But I will talk about, like, little details like Hawk's hair color and stuff. Because to me, that doesn't, you know, it doesn't really ruin the enjoyment of it. It's just like one of them cool things that they'll put in the trailer or something like that. But you won't really see me talk about certain things like, for example, just an example, Terry Silver's big set return. You know, I won't cover that unless you guys really push me to actually cover it. That's a big reason why I'm doing this video, because you guys are asking me in stream. So I thought, let me just do a video, getting it out of the way, and we can move on to more exciting stuff for Season 4 and beyond. I want to thank you guys for the support lately. We are getting ever closer to 5k subs. We are about 170 away, so if you haven't already, make sure you smash that subscription button, give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment down below for some civil discourse, and I will see you all in another video soon. Make a wish.